Imagine this. You're 7 months pregnant. The way they've got your hands shackled on either side of your belly, you're stuck framing this fact while the judge reads your sentence. While he speaks, while he seals your fate, he doesn't look at you. You're so tired. You've been awake for 6 days now, laying on your paper-thin mattress since they found you guilty, wondering what will happen. Now is the time you learn how long it will be, how many years that is until you can sing this child to sleep, if you are ever able to at all. As the judge reads the crimes you've been convicted of, possession, breaking and entering, you thought the house was abandoned. You were just trying to find somewhere to sleep. You think about the few times your mother sang to you. She was probably drunk, but those were the better times. That was before she took to hard drugs. That was before she lost all feeling for you or anything else. Before you had to manipulate people into caring for you and sell things you never thought you'd sell to feed your own addiction that grew out of years of abuse and neglect. When you zone back in, the judge is saying 4 to 10. 4 years minimum. You will have missed every first by then. Learning to walk, learning to talk, baby gurgles turning into laughter. This is your first child. By the time you're released, he'll know how to ride a bike. What he won't know anything about is you. And unless you can find someone decent to care for him, 15 months after he enters the foster care system, you will lose all of your parental rights to him. That's a federal mandate. 15 months in the system, and he'll belong to the state. 4 years, you waver. You feel like you're going to pass out. The public defender steadies you by the arm. You would have taken the plea. You don't even understand how any of this works. He convinced you not to. First-time offense, nonviolent drug crime. I mean, you didn't even know you were pregnant when they dragged you from that house, nodding out. They tested you at county, and you were shocked, but you probably would have known had you not felt so sick all the time anyway. You're scared. % of women enter the US prison system pregnant. That number may not seem like a lot until you learn the staggering effects of mass incarceration. That 4% is equal to 36,000 women annually. And it doesn't count the thousands of women spread throughout county jails in this country. Since the 1990s, the prison population among women has risen 400%. We're incarcerating women at a faster rate than ever before, driven by mandatory minimums, carceral response to meth and opioid epidemics, an extreme lack of domestic violence shelters, affordable housing, and mental health services. And like every acute societal problem, poor people and people of color are much more directly impacted. It's my belief that prisons are not overpopulated. Populations are over-imprisoned. Women going to prison looks a lot different than men going to prison, not just because of the crimes that they're incarcerated for, most of which are nonviolent, but because of the effect on the family unit. A mother is 78% more likely to be the head of a household of young children when she goes to prison, and her family is far more likely to splinter, sending children into foster care, vulnerable housing situations, and possibly back into the system when they come of age. When a mother goes to prison, the world that she has been balancing stops and then drops to the ground and shatters. And we don't know where the pieces will land. So imagine this. There you are, walking out of the courthouse. You feel your baby writhe and kick inside of you, and you can't even bring your hands to him. There's a van on the street waiting to take you to county, and then a van will be there tomorrow morning waiting to drive you to a prison 100 miles south of anything you've ever known. No one has come to your trial. There's no one to say goodbye to. And you are so scared. When a mother goes to prison, the fear of the unknown can suffocate. We know, we've asked them, what are you most afraid of? And they say two things: being separated from my baby 24 hours after I give birth, and giving birth alone, because that's what happens. For the past 2 years, a dedicated team of directors and I have been working to introduce doula care into the Michigan Department of Corrections. A doula is a trained birth partner that provides emotional, physical, and mental support during the prenatal, birth, and postpartum processes. She's not a medical professional. She doesn't say what's right and wrong, but she's there to be with you, guide you, listen to you, advocate for you, and push on your hips when things get real hard. For 2 years, we've spoken to the women inside. MDOC officials traveled to other places around the country that are doing projects like this. We've spoken to formerly incarcerated individuals, currently incarcerated individuals, people who had their babies in prison, whose children are now incarcerated. For 2 years, we worked on a proposal to present to Michigan Department of Corrections. In July, they allowed us to present that proposal to them, and here's what we offered. 1, the continuation of childbirth education that's been happening within the prison for the past 7 years. But we wish to pay the person who's providing this care as they have done it on a volunteer basis up until now. We want it to be sustainable and consistent. 2, a doula coordinator who will hold weekly office hours inside the prison and provide a continuity of care for these women. She'll be a listening ear, a guide, and she'll help coordinate the postpartum re-entry process. 3, and I think this is most important, a doula for every eligible prisoner. A person who meets twice prenatally, attends the birth, is there at the very painful time of separation 24 hours after they give birth, and meets in the prison again to do safety checks for postpartum, and to just be a face that reminds them that the world outside still cares. And 4, increased networks and coordination between the birthing hospital and the prison. We hope to be an integral part of both processes and provide continuity and consistency for these women. As of August, the Michigan Department of Corrections approved our proposal. You can clap. We're incredibly grateful. So imagine this. There's a big problem in your community, and there are things that you can do to help. We know our organization will never solve the problems caused by incarcerating pregnant women, nor the root causes of imprisonment in the first place, nor the incredibly large effects of incarcerating such great numbers of people. But there are small things that we can all do. If you don't have time to just start up a nonprofit real quick, you can definitely check in with places right in your community. You can step into the AFSC, which has helped to work on campaigns from the other side, the legislative side. You can become a good neighbor through that project. Google it, it's awesome. You can support our cause, which helps women in your area. Did you know that there's only one women's prison in Michigan? And it's in Ypsi. And you can be steadfast in your belief that people are not the worst thing they've ever done. So let me leave you with this. I believe in humanity for all people, regardless of immigration status, incarceration status, or age. And I believe that the care we take of the most vulnerable people in our community directly translates not just to help for those people, but the upward mobility of society as a whole. We can only move forward when we support each other. Thank you.